And I realized that, over the years that I'd actually been having these sort of little bits of past memory for years without actually realizing them. I'd have a dream where I was making pottery, throwing pottery on a wheel, and I would go into school the next day and I would start throwing pottery on a wheel. And my professor came in and he looked at me and he said, "Megan, what the hell are you doing?" And I said, "I'm making pots." And he said, "Yes, but you never work on a wheel." And I said, "Yes, but I dreamed I was doing it." He said, "It takes people usually a minimum of 2 weeks to even start to learn to do what you're doing, and you've come in without any prior experience, and you're just doing it." Well, yeah, because I remembered how to do it. And this is it. People have so much access to things that they don't realize they have access. Just like that dream. Oh, I've got an email from David, and I was halfway around the world. I was in Australia when I dreamed this. And I got up, and in fact, I woke up, I remembered it, I said, "Oh, I'll get that later," and I went back to sleep for another hour, and you were actually talking to me in the dream, and then I came back awake, and I went, "Oh, yes, that's right, I have this email from David," and, sure enough, there it was, sitting in my inbox, and people don't realize the infinite potential. I have memories not only from past lives, I have memories from in-between lives, where I'm not even in a human form. I'm able to project a human form, but I'm no longer in a human form.
Right.
And I see people that I know and people that I've known, and they're there, waiting for me, sort of, "Oh, hey, how you doing? Nice to see you back."
Yeah, but the world that we think we're experiencing is so not what we're experiencing. It's unbelievable. I said in one of my books years ago, when we really do find out all that we need to know, and we understand the nature of the reality we're experiencing, we are going to laugh for weeks and weeks at what we thought reality was compared with what we then know it is. I had a dream a few months ago, which was another one of those you dream it and it happens. Because I have real vivid dreams these days, and I was sitting up in bed just round the corner there. I was sitting up in bed in the dream, in the bed I was actually in. And someone got into the bed under the clothes at the bottom of the bed, and then came up the bed in a really fast snake-like motion, side to side, pushing the covers from side to side, and then popped their head out the end of the bed. And it was someone I knew. And they shook an empty purse at me. 2 days later, that person started demanding money. It was unbelievable.
It's amazing what sort of things pop up in dreams.
It seems that on one level that, what we call the subconscious, I would say, is a waveform phenomenon which connects us into the waveform fabric of this reality. And from that, we take the information through the vibrational, electrical, holographic. And it's like when you project something from the back of a movie theater at the screen, there is a lag time symbolically before it hits the screen. And I think that you can, through dreams and intuition, access something that's in the information construct as a possibility. And of course, the closer it gets, it becomes a probability. And before you've decoded it into the holographic experience. And often, because of the nature of the way things work at that level, often they're not necessarily always literal, though some can be, like you with the email. They can be symbolic of something as well, because the subconscious and the waveform tends to talk to us in images rather than words, because words are a human creation in many ways. And you can pick it up before it's become holographic. There was the story, which I've told in the book, because I've talked about this sort of stuff in there, of the lady who woke up from a dream. And the dream was that her child, a baby, was in her bedroom. And the chandelier in the bedroom had fallen on the baby and killed her. And in the dream, it was windy and pouring with rain outside. And I don't know what the time was. It's in the book, say 4 o'clock, 4 a.m. And she woke up from the dream. She went to see the baby was okay, but she felt, I'm not going to take any chances. And she moved the baby into another room. And then she looked outside. There was no wind, no rain, calm night, went back to sleep. Woke up later when a big bang happened. Got up, went into the baby's room, chandeliers crashed onto the cot. It's windy and raining outside, and it's 4 a.m. And I think that if you can access the potential, the possibility in that time scale, the probability, before it becomes actual experience, you can actually change the way that you can change what happens, no doubt about it. And I think one of the consequences of what I call the hack, one of the consequences of the calculated limitation of human potential has been to limit our potential to change our reality by having these sensitivities.
Well, it's nice because now science has actually given us a nice logical way of explaining what happens in the right brain to some of us, to people who don't perceive it. For instance, I was sitting with my grandmother and I was trying to explain to her that I remember past lives, and she says, "Oh, you're mad. You're completely bonkers and off your nut." And I said, "What's the first law of physics?" Well, energy is never gained or lost. It simply changes form. Light bulb. Another thing that I tried to explain to her, I said, you're denying these things. I said, you've done them. You're denying something that you've done. You're denying, psychic ability, and yet I've seen you do it. I had oral surgery, and in getting some wisdom teeth removed some years ago, they shattered and broke the bone in my jaw because the way that the roots had grown around the thing. And little bits of jawbone were working their way back up through my gums. And I had gone to lunch with my gran, and I thought, we were actually on a boat, and I thought, I seem to have got a seed or sesame seed from the bread lodged, in this cavity from where they had removed the tooth. And I said, look, I'm going to go downstairs and brush my teeth and try and get this seed out of there because it's quite annoying. And I'm spitting out a fairly large quantity of blood, which doesn't bother me because one of my professions is tattoo artist. I deal with blood on a daily basis, and it doesn't make me feel squeamish or sick, but my gran does not deal with blood very well. She's in a completely different part of the boat. And as I'm coming back up with a piece of my jawbone in my hand, because I thought, this is a strange thing, that's come out of my mouth, and I had, for some reason, I had taken it with me. My gran is coming back down the stairs from the lifeboat drill, and she says to me, I saw you, I saw all this blood, and I saw you, bleeding, and I thought, oh my God, I've got to get back downstairs.
Yeah.
And I said, no worries, I just, I seem to have spit out this funny thing, and we're going into the lifeboat drill, which is required, and one of these strange synchronicities of life, the last woman who was coming in with us, was the assistant to an oral surgeon. And I showed it to her, and she said, that's a piece of your jawbone. So the person who could identify, one, the thing that had come out of my mouth, was coming in at exactly the same time. And two, my gran, who believes, not at all in psychic phenomenon, was coming down the stairs to see what was wrong with me because of the blood. Well, she didn't see any blood. So these things are happening all the time, and people need to open themselves up to it. As an artist, I tend to be a little bit more right-brained than many people are, but I also love science, which allows, the two to sort of balance itself out. I work all day long doing artwork, and then I come home and I do something a bit more left-brain, and it keeps that balance going.
Right. Yes, it's a strange thing that people are having these experiences and are operating intuitively, and they don't realize that's what they're doing. And it's like everything, the more you use it, the more sensitive it becomes. And what changed my life more than anything else in 1990 was I decided that when my my head, if you like, was in conflict with my intuition. I was going to go with my intuition every time.